Good afternoon, everybody. We've got Todd Baldwin here. I can't believe that I got this guy. I can't believe it. All it had to take was getting published in a Business Insider article to get him on the channel, which was fantastic. Todd, how you doing, man? Super pumped to have you.
I'm doing great. And just so you know, we would have sure done this collab if it wasn't for that, but that definitely helps because we were in it together twice. But anytime you want to reach out, man, I'm game. You're cool.
We're all in the circle, and it's just kind of crazy because it's like, oh yeah, do you know Todd Baldwin? I was like, I know the name. And it's like same back and forth. And it was like, we just got to do a collab together. Got your contact. And it was like, hey, let's connect. So I'm the Lumberjack Landlord. Super excited to have Todd Baldwin here with us. As you guys know, I am a landlord, 117 rentals, 400 tenants, but one of my passions is house hacking. And so we have a guy that took house hacking truly to the next level. And so Todd, just introduce yourself. Talk to me about how you hacked, what you're doing now, because I think that people really don't understand that you don't get to start in the corner office with the view of the city. You got to start in the mailroom in the basement where it's kind of stinky. So talk to me about the kind of stinky and then walk me through it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for having me on. Yes, my name is Todd Baldwin. I am a house hack enthusiast. And so basically, here's what happened is I bought a house when I was 23 years old with my girlfriend. Don't recommend it, by the way, but it actually worked out wonderfully for me because she's now my wife. But yeah, two things I did that I don't recommend doing. I dropped out of college and I bought a house with my girlfriend, but they both turned out amazing. So my girlfriend and I lived in the master bedroom of this home, which was a 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom house. Wow. And we leased out every single bedroom that we weren't living in. So basically we had a bunch of roommates, right? Yeah. And in doing that, we were living completely for free. So that was great. Like to be 23 years old, to own a home and to have literally no mortgage payment or utilities because it was all offset by our rental income was huge. That allowed us to save a ton of money over the next 9 months, which we used to buy our second property. Awesome. That was another 6-bedroom property, which we again rented out all 6 bedrooms out. So we didn't rent it by the house, but we rented out all 6 bedrooms. And the market rent for that home at the time was around $2,500 a month. Like if we were just going to rent it out to a family. However, just our cash flow was $2,800 a month on that one house. So gross rent was like over $6,000, right? But the cash flow was $2,800, which was more than the entire market rent. We just kept doing that, just rinse and repeat. And we got to the point where we had a ton of rooms, a ton of houses. And that's how we started getting in Business Insider, like Matt the Lumberjack. And we've been in a few articles and on the news and stuff for it. It's just been a crazy ride and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, so now that we have the kind of the background is I want people to dream, right? Like we all played the game with your kids. Like if you were a millionaire, what if? Well, now becoming a millionaire is really not that hard. It just really isn't. Mm-hmm. 9th grade dropout. So I don't want to hear all the nasty comments. 9th grade dropout. I made it. Stop whining. So yes. At the end of the day, the way that I look at this is, okay, so we went through our process, rising tide lifts all the boats. We don't choose who we play on Sunday. It is what it is. That's who's on the schedule. And so our job was to maximize our opportunities. And so talk to me a little bit about how you created the $1 million.
Yeah, great question. So a couple of things. So when I dropped out of college, I left for a specific sales job. And you said that you got approached that too, right? Selling software and stuff. So I was in sales, and with sales being on the side of revenue, you can make 6 figures pretty quickly as long as you're hustling. So that's what I did. So I was working about 17 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And then I put in 10 hours on Saturday and another 8 hours or so on Sunday, which was crazy. But I was able to make 120 grand that year, my first year as a college dropout. Nice. And that's what I used to buy my first deal. And I kept my 9 to 5 for many years, by the way, while I was buying real estate. So at some point we had, we were bringing in 40 grand a month from real estate. I was making a couple $100,000 a year for my sales job. And then I live in Seattle. So the value of our real estate just like went through the roof, right? So the $1 million that I made in like net worth when I was 25, that was mostly from equity in real estate. If you're referring to the $1 million in cash that I have set aside from that Business Insider article, it's mainly just from the rents that I've collected, I've also got into wholesaling a little bit. So like I had this video that I did where I made 100 grand in 47 hours. That didn't suck. That was pretty awesome. So that was from wholesaling. I have another one where I probably will make 400 grand in only 6 hours of work. So that's going to be dope.
And now is that a wholesale deal?
It is. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So it's basically, I got this lead for a $4 million house. I'm raising the price to 4.4 million, selling it, and I'm keeping that delta of 400 grand.
Yeah.
So that doesn't suck, right? But
No.
so yeah, so now I have dry powder or a little over $1 million in cash, just like ready to deploy, not including the equity that I have in real estate or the money that I have in like stocks or crypto or anything like that. So yeah, it's a good position to be in for sure.
Sure. Yeah. One of the things that I think a lot of people need to understand is that it was the constant grind. It was a constant hustle, but it's also, I like to say that my dollar bills like to leave me, but so long as they bring back a bunch of their friends, I don't care. I'll keep on letting them go.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cool thing about this is that really anybody, really truly anybody can do this. Now there's been appreciation and there's been record appreciation. So recognizing that we're in a little bit different a market than we normally are. However, that being said, I took a little bit of a different approach. All of my proceeds came, yes, from rents, but we constantly rolled that back into the business because I'm dumb. I'm 44 and I still have my W-2 and I still work my normal W-2, but I have all the real estate. So anytime I say today's the day, today can be that day that I walk away.
Mm-hmm.
But I created my 7-figure stack. I basically created that stack from doing refis, 70% loan to value. That way, if the market corrects 20%, and I still need to sell something, I have the 8% that usually covers all the different fees, and I get a little bit of a check, but more importantly, I don't have to write a check. So I think the key for me was, and kind of how I created my stack is, the only reason you create a stack like that is to reinvest. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only reason that you do it. So talk to me a little bit about, now you've got this stack, you're looking at the situation and say, okay, what are you waiting for? What's the catalyst that's going to say, you know what, now is the time to start to redeploy some of that capital?
I'm looking for incredible deals.
Yeah.
So we're at a time of, sorry?
Incredible deals.
Incredible deals.
Like not a good deal. Like not a good great deal. Like something that's just like, I can't walk away.
Absolutely. It's like a gift from God deal. So what that means to me is that there are properties that are listed right now that aren't selling because of higher interest rates.
Sure.
Buyers are scared.
Yep.
So sellers are dramatically reducing the prices. I'm basically holding on to cash to deploy so I can go potentially pick up a home in cash for pennies on the dollar. Yes. So if there's an $800,000 house that nobody is buying because interest rates are 6%, but I can go in and say, well, I'll give you 300 or 400 grand cash. Well, and the thing is, probably 20, the first 20 times they're going to say no. All I need is 1 or 2 for them to say yes, and get that incredible deal. And then just you buy it and then you wait for the wave to ride back up. Right. So I'm holding on to cash to basically deploy to get incredible deals that I do basically buy it for pennies on the dollar because so many people are scared. And a lot of sellers are going to be panic selling, which do not do that, by the way, but I know people will be doing it. So I'll be there to pick up the pieces.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think that there's a lot of strategies, right, in this market, you've got sub 2 from a guy like Pace Morby, who's just a wizard with sub 2. You got seller financing, Mike Zuber from One Rental at a Time, and private money. He's done a lot with that as well. So you've got a lot of things like that that are available to people in the market. So I think, the one piece of advice that I think everybody needs to really understand is, yes, it's going to look tough. Yes, it's going to sound nasty. It's going to smell nasty. It's going to be bad. Like, I fully expect there to be a correction. It's going to take some time. Certainly the more frothy markets, which there certainly are some. I'm interested to see if Seattle's one. I personally think that Seattle is one. I think it's a little too frothy, but don't know because I don't have a buy box there. I don't spend any time there. So it's just a feeling from the outside, right? Because of such crazy appreciation. But as I look at it, and it's like, to your point, I'm looking for incredible deals. And I think one of the mistakes that real estate investors make is that they'll start to see this transition in the market and they'll buy something that 6 months ago was a really good deal, but now that's going to be average. And when you have all these other facilities at your hands, whether it's sub two or seller-based financing or any of these other different options, I think there's something really powerful about if you have cash, you have the option and you can always buy it and then refi it with the bank and pull out a bunch of money anyway. I know that for sake of a few transactions, we did that. We bought for cash. A couple times we liked the number that the bank gave us back and we were able to pull out even more than what we put in. A couple times we didn't really like the number and we're just like, that number is too low. One was so low, we actually said, cancel, new appraiser. We're not no, that number is ridiculous. Like, show me that house, I'll buy 10 of them right now. I'll sign on the line, which is dotted, so send that to me. But as you're looking at that, as you're looking for that incredible deal, what are the top 1-2 strategies that you'll look at? Because as much as everybody knows Todd Baldwin, what are the couple strategies that you'll use to uncover that type of an opportunity?
Yes, absolutely. Great question.
Thanks.
So one thing that has helped me out tremendously is I pretty much exclusively buy in an undervalued area that's going through a transition.
Yep.
It's hard to know which areas are going to go through a transition. So I buy them sort of at the start. Like I wait for it to happen first. I wish I had a crystal ball and did it before it happened. I'm not that smart. But so every deal that I've ever bought, like this duplex that I'm sitting in, I bought this duplex in August of 2019 in a town called BRRR, Washington. And it's right next to a city called White Center, which used to be known as Rat City because it was so rough of an area. However, a couple of years ago, they put up a new community center, a nice library, a new pool, a senior living facility, really nice apartments. So I bought this on that upswing, right? Yeah. Today, this house is worth about 600 grand more than what I paid for it in 2019. Wow. Now, again, we've also had inflation and record real estate prices, but part of it is the area now is so much nicer because there's been so much more development. So that's a big one for me, making sure that it's in an undervalued area that's going through a transition. And then for my strategy specifically too, where I just do house hacks, I make sure it's either an incredible house hack, like a good bedroom to bathroom ratio, plenty of parking, so nobody has to park on the street. And if it's a duplex like this, something where it can be on Airbnb as well. We've had around 3 Airbnb units and the money from that is incredibly lucrative. But yeah, so just those, nothing crazy, right? I don't buy in it. I typically never buy properties that have an HOA. But other than that, just, finding properties that work. And also don't rush in to buy the first deal you see. It took me 10 months to find this deal. 10 months of searching every day for properties, both on and off the market, before I finally came across this deal. And it paid off because my $90,000 down payment turned into 600 grand of equity. I've lived here completely for free since 2019 and made a cash flow of like $1,800 a month while I live here for free. Yeah.
That's textbook, right? That's textbook. And as the market shifts, that's really what I continue to caution people about. The market's going to shift. You're really waiting for that guy that really, really has to sell. And quite frankly, with the appreciation that we've seen pretty much everywhere over the last 2 or 3 years, if they bought 15 years ago, they have a ton. I mean, I know because I've been investing in this area for 18 years, just in this 1-2 towns. 18 years ago, the duplexes I was buying them for a third what I pay for them now. And so I look at it and say, if I can buy it for 20% off, 30% off, because the guy just asked to get out, but he's tickled because I'm paying him double what he paid 15 years ago. So he's thrilled. I love the other point that you made too, of kind of up and coming. So the city, when I picked it, my first city that I picked was actually named Dirty Dover. And then the second one was Scummersworth. That was the nickname of the town. And then another one was Rottenchester. And so it was like, you want to kind of find those towns that have these horrible reputations, because the one town south of me in Dirty Dover, that place was probably 3x the price to live in. And eventually you run out of land, you run out of developments, and they have to go to the next place over. Also look for big bridge projects and big highway widening projects where all of a sudden it makes an area more accessible than it previously was. that was a huge win for me. They took a 1 lane each way bridge and turned it into 4 lanes each way. Well, guess what? Now no longer did anybody care about living across the bridge. And that made the prices just help the prices go absolutely through the roof. So
Absolutely.
any other sage words of advice, if there was that one last piece aside from what you've given us so far as, hey, this is what I did, this is kind of, what was that last piece of advice that you give people and say, if this is the only thing, the only advice I could tell someone, this is what I would tell them?
Man, okay, no pressure though. You know, honestly, if I could give anyone, like if the only piece of advice I was allowed to give was this, I would say try and fail at a bunch of different things and find out what works for you and your market. And maybe that's house hacking like me and the lumberjack, and maybe it's not. There's no one size fits all to building wealth and personal finance. I have a friend who makes right around $2 million a year. He does not own a single rental house. He does not own a single stock. What he does own is 18 car washes. That's what he owns. And it brings him in $2 million a year, right? So yeah, it's just, you know, just go and try a bunch of stuff. And, you know, like there's risk to everything, but you're never going to know if you don't try. And sitting on the sidelines waiting for life to happen is no way to live. You know, you just got to jump in and do it. And, you know, that's really it. Just go try a bunch of things, see what works for you, because it may be something that Matt and I would never even think of, but you imagine it up and you make it happen. So yeah, just go shoot your shot, whatever it is.
Yeah. Like I've seen people become massive millionaires buying Dunkin' Donuts franchises.
Yep.
I'm just like, dude, it's donuts. I was like, number one, I can't believe you're not enormous. But you know, because that's what would happen to me. And I was like, but the fact, like, but they're crazy. And so again, it really just comes, you can, you know, people that sit there and doubt themselves, people that sit there and think that they don't have a fair shot. I think the really closed game, I think, is the stock market. Because I think unless you're on a trading floor with all the hush numbers and hush rumors and things like that that are going through, you can watch as much CNBC as you want. That's tough to get in front of. And especially now when companies are going through G and H rounds of funding, it's not like it used to be where it was an A round, a B round, a C round, and then public, or an A and a B and a public. It's like 7 rounds of funding before you get public. So that's what made me fall in love with real estate, is that I felt like the system wasn't rigged. I felt like I could learn as much as I possibly could, and that a mistake, I still had a place to live. Even if there was a mistake, even if I found out that I didn't love house hacking, okay, well, if I have a duplex, then I can still have people next door. And I did a ton of duplexes because it was as good as a single family home to me, and I was living there for free or a couple $100 a month. So, and that meant all the W-2 money went right to the bottom line. So Todd, thanks so much for taking the time with us today. Tell everybody where they can find you, because I love your stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes. On Instagram, I am at Todd J. Baldwin, and on YouTube, I am just Todd Baldwin.
Easy enough, my friend. Well, much appreciated. Thanks so much. As I always say, like and subscribe. We create awesome content for you. Come hang out with us. Live streams. We get the live stream Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Come hang out. But absolutely check out Todd. His stuff is awesome. And I tell you, do you do all your own media stuff too?
Yeah, I'm terrible at it, man.
It's not bad, dude. It's like way better than my stuff. It's really, I love it. So check out Todd's stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. Todd, thanks so much for taking the time with me, and we'll definitely connect again soon in the future. Take care.
Thank you. Absolutely.